Okay. All right. So next I need to share my screen. Okay. So we'll get started here. There we go. So you made it. The other thing I'll talk about tonight is the final PPE report, which I'm thinking many of you guys have questions about. So we're going to cover the final PPE report, the RHIA exam prep, and how that's going to look. I'll provide a little bit of an overview of each unit and then touch on the synchronous sessions coming up. So, all right. By the way, are you guys seeing my full screen here? Yeah, okay. All right, just want to make sure. So the affiliation report, which now I just call the PPE report, final PPE report. So my language is a little outdated, but based off of the introductions or reintroductions that you guys have been doing, it seems like most of you have been working on your reports, which is wonderful. The due date is February 13th. That's a Sunday. And then just as a reminder, there is that template or sample for you to follow in HIM 4555. And that reminds me, I'm going to check after this session tonight. 4555 should still be open. And if it's not, I'll reopen it again, and at least to keep it open until the end or till the due date of the final PPE report. So as you might have guessed, those do take me quite a while to grade because they're so large and there's just a lot for me to go through. So my goal is always to get them obviously graded by the end of the course, and hopefully before then. Hold on one second. Okay, thank you, Kimberly. So don't, if you don't see a grade within a week or even 2 weeks, just be patient with me as I work through those. I do have a little lighter load this term, so I'm optimistic that I'll get through them in a couple weeks. So we'll come back to the PPE report later, and if you guys have any questions, we can address them then. So the RHIA exam prep, if I can talk tonight, starts with you guys taking the mock exam, which I'm hoping maybe you guys have all received or have your RHIA exam prep books, that it's a brand new book and that you have a code that has never been used in the front of it. If you do find that you have any issues with that, let me know. But also AHIMA does have their customer service number where you can call. But each unit, so we'll start off with that practice exam, and then from there, each unit has some check your understanding assignments in them. And there's also a test in each of them. The tests are optional and they don't count towards your grade. They're essentially just there for you guys to use how you want. You can take them and use them for studying or not. And my plan is that I would keep this course open at least through the summer for you guys to kind of keep coming back to if you want to take those exams at your own your own pace. The check your understanding assignments, the way I have those broken out, I'm going to go to my next slide here because I think it tells you a little bit more. Yep. So I have, you'll see here, there's in unit 1, we have chapter 4, check your understanding, that correlates with chapter 4 in the Oaks and Waters textbook. And then we have chapter 11 and 12 in unit 2, chapter 9 in unit 3, and chapter 24. Each of those chapters correlate with a domain on the RHIA exam. So you might be wondering, how did Katie pick those, chapters or whatever? And I essentially just wanted you guys to have practice within each domain. And so your mock exam it's actually pretty cool. Actually, maybe while I'm talking about that, I apologize, I'm going to jump around a little bit here, but maybe while I'm talking about the mock exam, I'm going to pull up the instructions. So the mock exam, if you guys haven't checked out the mock exam yet, the instructions are very detailed because it's kind of a process getting in. Once you get in, it's great and everything, but make sure you're following the steps I have laid out here for you, and I have screenshots of what it's going to look like for you when you get in. But the one thing I really wanted to show you tonight is once you get in and you do the mock exam, this is what you're going to be presented with. Is you're going to start a new quiz, and you'll select RHIA exam 1. Then make sure you check all of these domains. It's going to be, then you'll see a total of 180 questions. Okay, I want you to answer all the questions and take the full exam. It's going to take you a while, obviously, but it's going to also give you a really good sense of where you're at with each domain. And so at the end, you're going to be presented with several screens, but the one that's the most important is what I want you to do is click on this download results, and it's right here. That is going to present you with an Excel document, and it's going to tell you exactly. I'm going to try to make this bigger so you guys can see it. Where is my, there we go. I think hopefully you can see that a little bit better. But one of the nice things about it is that, and this is just an example, but it's going to give you each domain. It's going to tell you the number of questions that you answered or that you had for each domain, the number correct, your percentage, and then it's going to tell you, I want to say poor, fair, and I can't remember all the different words that they use, but it's going to kind of tell you guys how you did on each of the domains. And then this is what you need to submit for your assignment for the mock exam. Okay, so this is what I want to see. Nobody else is going to see this. Okay, and so with that, I want to say, please don't look at the answers in the back of your book when you're going through. In fact, I always tell students it's good if you randomize them. There's a checkbox here that says randomized, so that you're not tempted to look at the answers in the back of the book. Okay. And Renee asked if you could take the mock exam more than one time. And yes, that is what is so kind of why I went with this route a couple years ago, is because you can take these anytime you want. There's also, I believe that there's practice questions in here as well. If there's a certain domain that you just really are struggling with, you can just pick that and just answer questions on that domain. So you can take these over and over and over again. So here's the caveat, everybody. This is what is really important, is that it's not sophisticated. It's not a sophisticated system. So it's not going to save your results from test to test to test. Okay, you're going to have to save them yourself. So by downloading that Excel spreadsheet or however you want to do that going forward. The other thing is that if you stop, like say that you get through 60 questions and you need a break, or maybe something comes up, I can't guarantee that when you come back, those 60 questions are still going to be there. Like I've never really like tested the system to figure out how long it stays open before it like times out or any of that. So my recommendation is to pick a time where you have a good 2 hours. I would say most students get done in about that much time, that you can just focus and just start this practice exam and take it all the way to completion. And like I said, I'm the only one that is going to see your results. You don't need to share them. We're going to have a discussion around kind of like your thoughts on it, how it went for you, that kind of thing. But there's no like, you don't need to tell everybody, well, I only got 20% on revenue management. You know what I mean? Like you don't need to share anything that you don't want to. This is really just for you to get a baseline, because at the end of the course, you're going to take the second one, right? And hopefully after kind of practicing and studying and going through some of the check your understanding assignments, by the end, hopefully once you take RHIA practice exam number 2, you're going to see improvements in the different domains. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at with that. But the one thing I just really wanted to stress was don't like close out of this screen or anything until you click on that download results, because it will not save. You would probably have to do it over again, and I don't want you to have to do that. So maybe while I'm on this, why don't I open it up for questions right now? If you guys have any questions on this RHIA mock exam, feel free to unmute yourself and just ask me, okay, right now.
So does it tell you if you passed or not, I guess?
Okay, so I'm trying to remember what that, it's not really like that, Kimberly. It's not like, you would just need to know, and it's been a while since I looked at what the pass rate is for the actual exam. You just need to know that. But I can tell you that like students have passed the actual RHIA exam and failed a domain. You know what I mean? So they maybe failed one domain, but still passed the exam. I hope that makes sense. So, and I can look that up here in a little bit, maybe when at the end, I can look up what the pass rate is. So you can kind of get a better idea.
It says in 2020 it was 74%.
Okay. Yeah. So that kind of gives you an idea then of what you would need. Mhm. Any other questions on this mock exam?
So those domains is that the chapters you're covering in class that we will do the test your knowledge on? Okay.
Yes. Yep. So
I did not purchase the upgraded or the updated book, so I'm.
you know, Renee, I wonder if I'm going to make myself a note. I think I have some. I think you'll be okay. But I think last year when they made the change in editions, I had done a crosswalk of like correlating chapters. So I can tell you what those chapters would be in that edition.
That would be great. Thanks.
Yep.
Would the questions be similar or the same for the
I think very similar. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it would be okay if I did what I have, or
I think so. I think you'll be all right, Renee. Yep. Yeah.
I was kind of being a cheapskate.
It's okay. It is an expensive book, so I understand. What edition are we in? I can never remember. I feel like we're changing constantly. So you have the 5th edition.
Yeah, I have the 5th.
Okay.
And
I'll probably post that because I'm going to guess that you're maybe not the only one in class that.
Thank you for doing that. Thanks.
Yeah. Yep, I can do that. Okay. Any other questions on the mock exam or anything? So, like I said earlier, this is something you can take over and over and over again and use going forward. So it's a nice tool, and I hope, you know, like, I think it does a couple things. One, it's maybe a little shocking to some students to like see maybe where they're at in some of these domains. And then for some students, it really puts their mind at ease to know like, okay, I just really need to brush up on several areas or whatever. So, but it's very close to what the types of questions that you're going to get on this mock exam are very close to what you would actually see on the RHIA exam. So, all right, so I'm going to switch back over here to my PowerPoint. One second here. All right, so I already just want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. So then, so unit overview, let me just kind of go through this really quick. I know I've touched on a couple things. So you guys are doing great with your reintroduction discussion. It's fun to kind of hear where you guys are all at. You'll do your mock exam. I think pretty much everybody except for maybe 2 students have signed up to deliver their PPE presentation. So thank you for doing that. Discussion number 2, and you guys, maybe this will be nice for you, as we really only have 3 discussions in this class. So 2 here in this first unit and then 1 in unit 4. So the second one is just kind of for you guys to share a little bit about how you felt that mock exam went, and then maybe sharing some study tips that you have for your classmates. Especially, I'm anxious to hear from those that have taken the RHIT or another type of AHEMA credential test before. I think those are really helpful to your classmates by sharing those experiences. So, and then we start off with the RHA exam prep with chapter 4 in the Oaks and Waters textbook and doing the check your understanding assignment there. And then along the way, you guys should be working on developing your PPE presentation. And so within Brightspace, I have, the presentation instructions and a rubric on how you're going to be evaluated. So you guys have a sense of how that will go. And then unit 2, we have 2 chapters where we'll do check your understanding assignments, and the final PPE report is due in unit 2. And then of course, continue working on developing your PPE presentation. So then in unit 3, so about a month into class, you're going to deliver your PPE presentations. You will, and I'll cover this in a little bit, but you'll also be completing 2 peer evaluations on classmates' PPE presentations. So the evening that you're presenting, that night, you will also evaluate 2 of your classmates. I'll just assign you guys each 2 classmates to evaluate. I have an exam prep scavenger hunt assignment in unit 3. We'll do chapter 9, check your understanding. And then I'll have you sign up for a post PPE meeting with me. And that meeting is it's just a one-on-one meeting, very much like the pre-PPE meeting that we had before you guys started your PPEs. But this is a little bit more focused on kind of how I can help you with the job search, with RHI exam prep, any questions that you guys might have, and those kinds of things. So that's what that's a little less formal than the first one. We'll probably also touch on, if you thought that you met your goals through your PPE. And if you haven't seen your PPE mentors evaluation of you, or the person that oversaw your project, if you had a virtual PPE, if you haven't seen the evaluation from those individuals, definitely send me an email and I can download those and send them your way. Okay. And then unit 4 is there's a very short HIM program exit survey, and we just do that from an accreditation standpoint. We have that. It takes you literally like 2 minutes. There's our final check your understanding assignment. You'll get a few points for just having that post PPE meeting with me. We'll have you do that the second mock RHIA exam in unit 4. And then there is a discussion, third discussion in that unit that will have you take a look at how you plan to study for the RHIA exam and just how you're going to approach it after working through all the other things that we talk about in class. Okay. So that's pretty much it. The synchronous sessions we just have is mainly the PPE presentations. By now, like I said, I think only 2 of you haven't signed up. So you guys all know when you're delivering your presentation. I do just want to reiterate that it's important that you plan to stay for the entire time, the night that you're presenting. So I think I have them mostly set up from 6 to 8 or 6 to 7:30. We have an odd number of students, so the last night will be a little bit shorter just because I think we only have 3. So, but plan to stay for the entire session because of that peer evaluation that you need to complete, okay? And then let's see. Oh, the other thing is that I'll share obviously I think we'll use the same Zoom link for all of the presentations, and you can feel free to attend any of them or all of them. But of course you must attend the one that you're presenting at. But feel free to join in on other nights too, if you just want to hear from your classmates and what they experienced. And then the only other synchronous session is that post PPE meeting with me. So I think that was my last, slide. So really just, I know that, just in reading your reintroduction posts, that you all just have a lot on your plate. And, I understand if conflicts arise and you need more time on assignments or whatever the case might be, please don't ever hesitate to email me. I think one thing I've definitely learned through COVID is the need to be flexible. And so just don't hesitate, but also keep in contact with me if you're, if you need more time or something's going to be late or something comes up. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop sharing and open it up for questions from you guys. All right. So what are you thinking? Are you nervous? Are you, what are
So
your
I
questions?
looked at the PPE and presentation as like assignment breakdown, and it looks like the main focus is just the PPE project itself and like the content area
Mhm.
essays, and that's basically it.
Yep.
So we have to make that be 20 minutes basically.
Yeah. So
Like,
let me,
part of me feels like that's not much to like talk about for 20 minutes.
yeah, give me a sec. I'm just going to pull up the instructions just so that I can and make sure I'm telling you guys the right things here. I've had students in the past go for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. So the main thing is to definitely elaborate on your project. I think that's the main thing. That will give you some time. But for those of you, just kind of the intros will be very similar, where you did your PPE, who you shared it with if you did, that kind of thing. Then the PPE project, I have it down as 5 slides, but if you need more, and what I will tell you with the PPE project as well is please share examples. If there's screenshots, if there's things that you can show us, because I'll be honest, there's times where I sit through these presentations and I'm like, I have no idea what they did, like what the outcome was, what they developed. I don't really know. So any kind of screenshots or like I said, or examples that you can provide us along the way to kind of tell that story a little bit better is helpful and will also help lengthen your presentation if you're struggling to get to 20 minutes. Okay. What else do I want to say about that? I think the other thing is to really understand the purpose of your presentation, like why you did it, and explain like what was the problem that the organization or whatever was trying to overcome, and why you're doing the presentation. Because sometimes I don't know if students always have a really good understanding of why they worked on something. So make sure you explain that. And then so then the other thing would be, like you said, was the content areas or a workflow analysis. So if you conducted your PPE at a physical site, which Renee probably did a workflow analysis, so you would talk about your workflow analysis, or you can pick 2 content areas. But for some of you, you didn't have the workflow analysis. So just sharing 2 content areas, and it can be anything, like I said, just like how the content areas were with writing, you can pick any 2 that interested you the most or that you think the audience might be most interested in and share those. Yeah, biggest challenge and biggest lesson learned. So, some students really share a lot about that and just kind of it being a life-changing experience. I know it's probably a lot different just because you guys had more virtual PPEs. So for everybody, it's going to be different, but feel free to go into as much depth as you want on those things. But I think where you can elaborate, Kimberly, is probably with your project and sharing, like I said, sharing some of those screenshots and just different things and the steps that you took and that just elaborating.
So we did our content area essay or area interviews with like, I did mine with Anna. Do I have to say anything about her in here, or can I just talk about the content areas?
I think you would maybe just share briefly that you
Interviewed with. Anna.
Yes, with her. Are you guys on the same night?
No.
No, yeah. Then I wouldn't worry about it too much. But yeah, just sharing that you did it with her. But I mean, it's still your PPE. So what you got out of it. What other questions do you guys have? How are your reports going? Do you have questions on formatting those or?
I'm trying not to go back and
Mike,
change.
oh, sorry, Kimberly.
Go ahead, Renee.
I was just gonna say some of my content areas got kind of, I don't know if they got kind of long.
Mhm.
Strict, should I keep them at under 3 pages, I guess?
If they get beyond 5, I would worry, but
Okay.
yeah, I
Okay.
kind of check out after a little while. So.
I think
No,
all
I
mine
understand.
at 3, like right at 3, to get all the information that was necessary or whatever.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. If they're a little over, no, don't worry too much about it. I'm not going to deduct. I'm more likely to deduct if they're like 1 page. So
Okay.
just not enough information. That's more what I find, because I want you guys to explain to me. And basically with those content areas is I'm looking for your understanding, for you to demonstrate that you understand what you were experiencing and kind of tying it back to class and, coursework or whatever. So that's what I'm looking for. And if it takes you 5 pages to explain that, that's just fine. So. I was just going to quickly share. So I can't remember. I get a lot of emails throughout the day, ladies. So I apologize if this was one of you, but just asking, like reference pages, where should those fall? So I think with like where I see most of the time where reference pages come in is for content areas. And so doing a reference page immediately following each content area would be appropriate instead of one big one at the end of that section. So that would be helpful to me. The other thing is I had somebody ask about their PPE, like their project presentation. So they had to maybe deliver a presentation on their project to their mentor. And so if you had to do that, I want to see that. And so it was kind of like, where do I include that? And so what I would do is I would tell you to, within your project report, I would have you like reference an appendix. So see Appendix A for my PowerPoint presentation, and then put it at the very end of your report. And of course have like just like a simple title page that just says Appendix A, and have it follow that. So
in regards to this, because mine was a presentation that I did.
okay.
So do you want it like in squares? Do you want like each?
You can just,
saying?
yep. You can do it in just like that handout format where there's just like
Okay.
3 slides or even 6
All right.
slides is
Okay.
fine. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And I had emailed you mine. So the deliverable portion that's not really written out, that's basically what I produced during my PPE. That's sufficient enough. I don't have to write a long paper about what I produced. Okay.
No, I think as long as you've done a good explanation of it, telling, so I know what it is, what the outcome is. And then Kimberly, if there's something you can show me, like anything you can show me is helpful. But if you can't, I mean, I understand, but just so by the time I get to that part, if I just want to have a good understanding of what it was that you created and what your deliverable was. Yeah.
Yeah, I explained all the action plans and like
Perfect.
broke it down and did everything in the before.
Perfect. Yep. Okay.
We think we're done with it. Can we go ahead and turn it in? Like
Yes.
we think
Yep.
we're
Yeah. So let me just quickly look. I believe that the submission is in Unit 3. The like assignment submission area. I'll just make sure. I could be wrong. No, I'm thinking of the presentation. It's in Unit 2. Yep, final PPE report. It's at the very bottom of Unit 2. Mhm. Okay. Any other questions?
I noticed there was like a mock interview. I think
Oh,
someplace. Are we doing that?
yes. So, okay, so here's the thing. What I ended up doing last spring for seminar was I made it kind of like optional and as extra credit. So I keep kind of like going back and forth and if I want to require it as an assignment. I was feeling if just last year was just, it was a lot. And so and I'm kind of feeling like you guys all have a lot on your plates right now too. So likely I will make it extra credit, but it's also a really great tool if you're somebody that's looking for a job and want some practice interviewing. So what it essentially is, it's a system called Interview Stream. And there I have like, I don't know, 7, 8 questions maybe built in this interview stream system that are, I wouldn't say they're like HIM specific, but they kind of are geared more towards like an HIM student interviewing for an HIM position. And you're going to be like, it's just like this. You're sitting in front of a screen, your cameras, you're going to see yourself, which is, it's very awkward for students, I know. And you're looking at the screen and question will pop up and you'll have like, I don't know, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, something like that to answer the question. And then the whole purpose of it is for you to then watch it again, which of course is very awkward for students, but watch it again and pick up, on the things that you could have done better. So if you say a lot, if you are moving around in your seat and you're, like just students pick up on all kinds of things that you wouldn't have noticed or wouldn't have realized if you couldn't see yourself like that. So that's likely what I will do, is probably just make it extra credit. But it is a kind of a nice tool if you're, if you haven't interviewed for a job in a really long time and you just want some feedback. I will also share that Career Services is also very willing to do mock interviews with you. They'll do them over Zoom like this. And so if you tell them the type of position that you're interested in, or maybe there is one that you really are going to interview for, they would be happy to set up that a time with you to do a Zoom and also give you feedback on that. But if you do take the time to do the extra credit or do that assignment, I will also give you some feedback. And I'm the only one that watches it. It's, nobody else is gonna view that. It's just you and me kind of a thing. So. Yeah. Anything else? Okay. So the class is really focused on really RHIA exam prep and just really wrapping up your PPEs and closing those out. So I think we did, I can't remember, you guys, if we did with COVID, everything changed. I can't remember, did Mary Anderson do a presentation for you guys in the fall, or was it just a recording for interviewing? And okay, so I'll probably post that again in this class, just so you guys can do a little refresher on resumes and interviewing and that kind of thing. Because I just, in reading your reintroductions, it seems like a lot of you are already searching. So that's exciting, but also I'm sure kind of stressful for all of you. So I'll post that, but just remember that Career Services is there for you guys too. If you're submitting a lot of applications and not getting any responses, reach out to them. And, they have more resources than me in terms of, I just look on Indeed and I go to, the same websites and LinkedIn that you guys are going on. But they also have some other databases and things with job openings and postings from different organizations. If you haven't signed up for Handshake, that might be something to check into. So just don't forget about them, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know, I'm happy to do a resume review, but so are they. It's just resumes@css.edu and they'll give you feedback. And like I said, do mock interviews or really help you with any kind of questions you have on the job search. So. Okay. All right. You guys are a quiet group tonight. But it's good to see your faces. All right, I'm going to let you go so you can get on with your evening, and I'll post this recording. I will just look at my to-do list here. I'll get that 5th edition stuff posted for Renee and maybe anybody else that has that book. And I'll post the recordings from the career services from fall as well. So if I forget something though, don't hesitate to email me, okay? I have a little list going here. So, all right, have a good night and take care, okay?
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank
Bye.
you. Good night.
Good night.